Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Informal back with a new podcast. We are on the 73rd of the Mr. Informal podcast. I hope you are doing well today. It is summer and it is hot where I am at. So I have the AC on as usual since it is the summertime. And so again, this is the 73 Mr. Informal podcast, and there are four topics for today. So the first topic is Hermes beats Q1 expectations. Number two, Barneys New York may go bankrupt. That's gonna be interesting. Number three, Nike using plastic beads on their new shoe technology, and seems like they're not learning. And then number four, textile waste has gone up. Yes, it did not decrease, but it increased by a lot. And as you know, there's a lot of initiatives from my previous podcast, and so I guess whatever becomes good, suddenly something has to go bad. And so let's go ahead and start this Mr. Informal podcast. So in the recent earnings report for Hermes has been expectation for Q2 2019. Now I know I said Q1, but I guess I was wrong. It's Q2. Second quarter of 2019, thanks to the demands in Asia, specifically China. And yes, I mean, obviously there are other factors from it, whether it be Europe, Americas, South America, and other continents. But at the same time, it's mostly Chinese shoppers. And also the Birkin bag makers have also revamped and also revised their e-commerce. So check this out, right? So from April to June, the growth has risen 14.7%, which equals to $1.84 billion US dollars. That's basically up from 12.3 cancel that. So basically prior to that it was 11.6 sales growth. And so basically it's a lot of sales growth from Q1 to Q2. And so what do I think of this? So first and foremost, I'm not surprised that Hermes is growing. As you know, there's been a lot of demands. Well, if you don't know, there has been a lot of demands for the Birkin, especially I think the most underrated bag that they have is the Kelly. The Birkin has a long wait list, unless you know somebody in Hermes. You know, you have a great sales associate connection, or you buy a lot from them. But basically they have been increasing due to their bags, especially the name. Now I know this is due to the Chinese shoppers because they are getting into more luxury goods, but at the same time everybody seems to want Hermes. If you have a Louis Vuitton, you got to have an Hermes. If you have a Chanel, you have to have an Hermes. But here's the thing, here's what I don't like about Hermes. This is not in regards to their sales report. This is in regards to their ways of selling their item. Well, first of all, I don't like the fact that there's a waiting list. Not only that, there are snobs out there, Hermes store snobs, that you can't just walk into Hermes and buy a Birkin bag. Apparently you have to be in a waiting list. It reminds me of Rolex. And you can't just be somebody, which I don't understand. Why? I believe that if you have the money, then why not? You have the money, I got the item, I'll sell it to you. Demand is supply and demand. That's it. But it seems like here's the thing. When it comes to the men's division of Hermes, it is laughable. I mean, all I hear from Hermes is about their bags and their perfumes and cologne. But not about their clothes, not about their scarves, not about their other accessories. I don't get it. As you know, these Chinese shoppers are probably just buying their bags. That's it. I mean, I've never seen somebody tell me, "Oh, I like Hermes clothes." I never heard of that. I've only heard of, "Oh, I like Hermes bags." And so, I don't know. But just on the topic alone, it's great to see that Hermes is doing well. It seems like the economy is still going great. People still have a lot of money to shop. Well, certainly have a lot of money to buy Hermes. So, on to the second topic. The article is from ibtimes.com, business section. IB Times basically stands for International Business Times. So, the title is, Could Barneys New York Declare Bankruptcy? Luxury Department Store Faces an Uncertain Future. So, the article in the first paragraph says, Barneys New York, a high-end retailer, which they are, is exploring different options to cope with high rent at its Manhattan flagship store. In January, monthly rent at its location went from 16 million to 30 million, which is basically double, which has hurt Barney's finances. Some close to the company have said that they have enlisted law firm Kirkland and Ellis to assist with preparation for the possible bankruptcy filing, although it is uncertain whether the retailer will take that course of action, according to Reuters. Not only that, they have also talked with Wells Fargo to also assist in preparation for the bankruptcy. So Barneys has more than 10 stores across the country, states of Florida, California, Illinois. There are also 12 stores in Japan. I can't believe there's 12 stores in Japan. That's crazy. I guess Japanese love Barneys New York. So, another retailer seems like it will go to dust. I've been to Barneys New York. I've been to a lot of Barneys New York, and every time I go there, it seems like the service is mostly a miss. It's hit or miss, but mostly a miss. I mean, they don't offer a lot of sizes. They don't offer the kind of looks that you're trying to buy. I mean, most of the items that you want are in the website. So if that's the case, what's the point of the store instead of the website? But I don't like the fact that a lot of stores are shutting down or going bankruptcy because it takes away from the experience. Whenever you buy clothes, you gotta wear it, you gotta fit it. It's hard to see it online, and I'm not trying to put down online retailers, but the fact is that if it's clothes, if it's garment related, you gotta try it. That's just how it is. And I know that it's an inconvenient to return it. I prefer going to the store than online. It's just the way it is. I mean, don't you just want to go out? Don't always sitting down on a computer, not do anything with life. But it seems interesting. Now, what's gonna happen with the 12 stores in Japan? I think that's ridiculous. They have 12 stores in Japan, and yet they only have 10 stores total in the US. What? I mean, the US is a bigger country than Japan. I guess Japan loves Barneys New York, but I gotta hand it to Barneys New York credit where it's due, because they do have exclusive items, exclusive brands that they do carry, such as Public School NY, Comme des Garçons, and so on and so on. But with this, I am not surprised, as a lot of retailers are going to file bankruptcy, whether it be to low sales, whether it be not enough profits, buying too much. And what's ridiculous about this is that double the payment of the Manhattan store, 16 million currently, and now it's gonna be 30 million. Are you serious? Heck, if I was them, I would just rather take, you know what, screw the Manhattan, let's move somewhere in New York. How about Brooklyn? How about other boroughs of New York? Does it have to be Manhattan? I mean, even if they move from Manhattan and it's still in New York, their name would still make sense. Barneys New York. Does it need to be in Manhattan? I know that I did a podcast where Manhattan is basically becoming a ghost town because a lot of stores can't keep up with the rent Why not follow them and be like, screw Manhattan, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to have the flagship store. I'm moving on to another borough. I'm moving somewhere in New York. And so hopefully Barneys New York recovers, or they have some kind of backing, but I would not be surprised if they do file for bankruptcy. So moving on to the third topic. So Nike is suddenly getting criticized for its new insole technology called the Joyride. So basically, Nike recently unveiled their latest proprietary footwear cushioning innovation called the Joyride. So basically, inside of it is full of TPE, or plastic beads, which Nike claims can expand in all directions, which means that if you step on it, then it will expand, giving you that comfort, giving you the support, and to make sure you don't have foot fatigue. But Nike is getting criticized for it because these are plastic beads, which means they will pollute the environment. So what do I think of this? You see, I'm not really happy about this. Not because Nike's not innovating or not doing the R&D, or Nike is not doing anything with the shoe industry. I just don't understand how how big Nike is, and yet it still has to rely on plastic for their shoes. I mean, you have rubber. I mean, look, let me go back. I'm sorry. You have the lunar lawn, you have the shocks, you have the air cushions. I mean, how much more technology you can do? I don't agree with using. There's nothing wrong with new technology, but what I don't understand is that you could use other materials and yet you chose to use plastic. And as you know, Nike is big. They have other things to do. Now they say that these are made from recycled materials. It doesn't matter. Plastic is plastic. But you could use rubber, recycled rubber. Why not use that? I mean, there are other materials to use. And to be fair, I don't have any experience with this. I mean, it's just been unveiled, so I'm not sure. But I've used lunar lawn before. I've used shocks. Even their springs, even the air cushions. Those are all great. But I mean, do we really need to get into this, Nike? You have to remember that these beads are made from a factory which are also uses water. So if certain beads, go to waste or suddenly escape, or the yield is not good enough and they just have to trash them, and then they may end up going to rivers and streams, which is not too plausible. I mean, I'm sorry, it is plausible that can happen. So if Nike wants to continue with this technology, then fine. But they have to face the repercussion, they have to face questions, and they have to face the kind of criticism that it does. Not only that, in the article, Nike responded saying that Nike is committed to creating more sustainable future, protecting the future of sports. Like all athletic footwear, Joyride can be recycled through Nike reuses shoe program and transformed to new products. We have also been actively exploring other sources of microfibers and working with the sporting goods industry and other industries and to understand the issue and identify long-term scalable solutions. Now, first of all, we all know plastic is not a microfiber. Now, if you were talking about plastic fiber, then yeah, but you were talking about beads, so it's not technically a microfiber. But I don't believe that Nike is doing 100% of the Nike reusable shoe program. I don't believe that, because they're just we all know that a lot of these companies spending more money to recycle a shoe than making a shoe. So in terms of their financial stability of recycling a shoe, I doubt that they're actually following through with that 100% unless they tell me otherwise. And so I mean, if Nike wants to continue with it, it's theirs, but they just have to be ready with the criticism. So the last topic for today is going to be interesting. It's based on the Retail Dive website, retaildive.com. The title is Textile Waste has increased 811% since the 1960s. Wow. Textile waste has increased 811% between 1960 and 2015, and the vast majority of this is heading to the landfill according to data from the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. Textile waste totaled more than 1.76 million tons in 1960 and grew to more 16 million tons by 2015. The utilization of clothing, the average number of times a piece of clothing is worn before discarded, has increased 36% in the last 15 years, according to 2017 report from Ellen MacArthur Foundation. A new textile economy redesigning fashion's future, contributing to the growing levels of waste. Now, this is a problem, but plastic is still the worst offender of all waste, but this is just bad, man. See, this is why I'm not a fan of fashion, fast fashion, because they don't seem to have a plan when it comes to protecting the environment, and also how to recycle, reuse fabrics. I can tell you right now, working in the fashion industry, when you buy a roll of fabric, could be 100 yards, could be 120. I can tell you that there's times when you make one clothing out of it and you don't even use it anymore. You don't even use that roll anymore. Sometimes you just dump it. And imagine if that happens 10 times a day or even 10 times a week. Now you're looking at 10 rolls per clothing. That's crazy. 811%. Can you imagine that? And this is why when you go to conventions, you go to shows, you see videos, and they always tell you buy the right quality clothing that you could wear for a long time, or you could wear until it rips or until it has holes, which is true. Because I think that whenever you have a certain type of dress or a certain type of clothing that you like, that is made of quality, that fits you, you want to wear it every day. You want to wear it once a week, twice a week, whenever. Not only that, as you know, it will be durable, even if the price is high. But I'm not saying that fast fashion is the blame for this, but it kind of does relate to it. But when we're talking about textiles here, we might be talking about fabric, clothing, shoes, anything. And it's sad. There's not a lot of big initiative out there that you could say that is helping to reduce the amount of waste, and the fashion industry is not even helping itself because it's still going to the garbage. We have no way of recycling these fibers. I believe that here's the thing, okay? Polyester is not recyclable. It just isn't. I would prefer everything made of cotton or natural fibers because they are biodegradable. They degrade much quicker than man-made fibers. When I say man-made fibers, we're looking at nylon, aramid, we're looking at polyester, TPU. And so, I mean, it's sad. I mean, I don't even know what to say to this article. 811%. The whole fashion industry would have to agree, would have to make a industrial factory that's saying, hey, we gotta recycle these stuff. Can we find a certain bacteria that eats this stuff? Do we have a certain machinery that turns this into yarns? Anything that we can make this into a recycling a trend. And so that basically concludes this 73rd edition of the Mr. Informal Podcast. I hope you learned something today. I hope I gave you some insights. And don't forget to add me on Instagram, MisterInformal.com. And check out my website at mrinformal.com. That's MRINFORMAL.com. I will see you in the next podcast. Bye bye.